In the last 5 years, there has been a noticeable increase in the number of GMT watches available on the market in a variety of price ranges. Despite this significant growth, there was still a dearth of watches that stood out as clear indicators of value, one of which is the MIDO Ocean Star GMT, an underappreciated sports watch from Switzerland that provides true GMT functionality for less than $1,400. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and watch the video till the end to know all about the watch. Let's begin. In 1918, the company was established in Bielbienne, Switzerland. In its early years, MIDO was known for its multi-fork mechanical watches, being among the first to offer shock, water, and magnetic resistance. In 1944, MIDO started to introduce the Ocean Star, a dressy but capable water-resistant watch, with a unibody case construction and the brand's own exclusive water-resistant Aquadura crown, following water-resistance pioneers like Rolex and Omega. The more obscure 5907 reference, known for its brilliant rainbow color code decompression, scale, dial, and astounding 300 meters of water resistance, was released in the 1960s. But it was not until then that MIDO gained its name for making dive watches. Their diving collection adopted the Ocean Star brand, which has now been modified to encompass a wide range of diverse styles, including the 2020 release of the MIDO Ocean Star GMT. The success of these early aquatic models finally cleared the path for additional divers. Previous editions of the line were each distinguished by their genuine GMT movement. Now, let's take a look at the brand new 2022 Pepsi version with its striking blue and red color scheme. The real GMT movement inside the watch, which is made possible by ETTA perks as a result of being part of the Swatch group, has to be considered the watch's single strongest feature. Before delving too deeply into this movement in particular, let's briefly recap the differences between the true GMT and the more popular officer collar GMT. With an office GMT, moving the crown to the second position only activates the additional 24-hour time hand and not your local hour hand. Whereas, with a true or traveler's GMT, which is prized more for its ability to set the time when changing time zones. The issue here, though, is brought on by the usual price increase. The new Longines Spirit Zulu Time, for instance, offers this function for a reasonable price. But after that, Tudor's GMT products, the Black Bay GMT and Pro, leap sharply to prices closer to $4,000, making the Ocean Star GMT one of the outliers in the current GMT market. The ETTA C07.611 movement, which is located beneath the screw-drawing case and has a graphical representation of the world's time zones to help set the watch, is specifically identified by this name. This movement is altered at a caliber tweaked to include a GMT module, raising the thickness of the movement by about 0.64 millimeters, along with MIDO's caliber 80s. With the help of additional adjustments to the barrel and gear train already found in countless watches, the collection of powermatic calibers used by the Swatch Group's brands reaches its enhanced power reserve of 80 hours. This pneumatic caliber has developed a great reputation for being extremely difficult to top for the price. In terms of general operation, you're looking at 21,600 vibrations per hour at 3 Hz. With an 80-hour power reserve, it does have hacking and hand winding. Hacking ceases in the second hand when you pull the crown all the way back. The plant where they normally arrive at amazing daily rates of precision regulates their movements. Anecdotally, we did test the scenario we discussed in this article. Returning to the watch's front, we find a flat sapphire crystal with an AR coating on both sides, which makes it simple for the new, eye-catching dial, with its matte blue central surface and endearing red accents to stand out. Starting at the Dallas edge, there is a fixed chapter ring with a printed 24-hour scale, with the even hours printed in white and the odd hours printed with linear lines. Liking this video so far? Then go like, share, and subscribe now. The chapter ring's upper half is blue to match the dial, and the bottom half features a striking red design for the date and hours. With the help of the skeletonized baton hands and the red arrow GMT hands, the time is kept track of by applying rectangular and square hour markers within a straightforward minute track. With a MIDO logo at 12 o'clock, and the name of the watch Ocean Star resting just above 6 o'clock, and a white date wheel visible at the straightforward aperture at 3 o'clock, thickly applied to both the indices and hands, the stark white dial text stands out against the blue background with impressive contrast. The lume also shines brightly and consistently, and it is remarkably sturdy for the price. Additional legibility in dim illumination is provided by green across each element. Speaking of the wearability the Ocean Star GMT offers, we have a larger dimension set with a 44mm bezel diameter, a 49.8mm lug-to-lug length, and a 13.2mm thickness. The watch wears more like a 42 to 43mm diameter on my wrist, though it's definitely not the ideal option for someone with a thin wrist, because of the relatively shorter lug to lug compared to the case width. With its sloping lugs and narrow bevel, where the case top meets the sides, the current Ocean Star Collection's case form is reminiscent of classics like the Rolex and the Submariner. The majority of the case surfaces are linearly brushed with a few touches of polishing. The safety of hefty crown guards, which have their own faces and 120 unidirectional dies, surrounds a side-screwed-down crown that is 200-meter water-resistant. Although the time-elapsed diver style is an odd choice for a GMT set between 22mm lugs, the bezel is complete with a ceramic insert, a wonderful bonus at this price point. One of the greatest wristbands you will find probably for the price is included with the Ocean Star GMT. A polished bevel is displayed along the bracelet edge of the standard 3-link Oyster style with brushed outer links and power center links. The 20mm clasp was executed flawlessly. This is most likely the main attraction. The bracelet includes an inbuilt extension system with a push-button release that takes the place of the conventional micro-adjustment points and provides 2 cm of precise adjustment. We would say that this Ocean Star bracelet is probably one of the bands that sets the bar for what we believe is a really well-done $1,000 to $1,500 bracelet should feel like. It also comes with 2 half links, so you won't have any trouble getting a perfect fit here. For those sweltering summer days, this version has now an additional red, white, and blue strap. You'll get that strap if you put it on the bracelet. With some of their watches, they're frequently almost a step beyond things like Hamilton's and the TSOs. They are quite well made. Here are a few drawbacks to this watch to think about. The size will be the first thing. In terms of real wear on the wrist, we estimate that this will potentially size out some people at 42 to 43mm. The polished center links will be the additional feature. They won't be as strong as they would be if the item had been totally brushed, because those will be visible scratches. The bezel is the last aspect of the design that some individuals may not like. While we believe that using a GMT would make this watch's usage of a time-elapsed bezel rather than a 24-hour bezel more practical for some users, it's not the biggest concern. This type taps into the dive watch DNA of the Ocean Star line. But now that we are discussing this watch and its advantages, we believe the main reasons why it is such an anomaly lie in 2 main areas. The new bracelet will be one. The bracelet is simply amazing. The clasp, which offers a 2 cm range of micro-adjustment, is what we believe to be the nicest part about it. We particularly appreciate the fact that it won't be excessively hard on the back of your wrist. This system doesn't have the trade-offs that many micro-adjustments systems do, which makes wearing less comfortable and clumsy. It is virtually tapered and more elegant. The biggest issue is, of course, the fact that this watch is an anomaly in terms of GMT movements. There aren't many other options on the market that come close to this if you want the isolated hour feature, because this is a real GMT. This item's wearability is another aspect. Given that real GMT movements often need to thicken their movements in order to function, you'll often notice thick watches with these movements. Because of this, so many people are critical of timepieces like the Tudor Black Bay GMT or the Tudor Black Bay Pro. We believe that this wristwatch's 13.2mm thickness and $1,400 price point demonstrate its high quality. There are a lot of watches in this $1,000 to $2,000 price range that are driven by mechanical movements like the 2893.2. This is most likely among the greatest deals available if you want a genuine GMT without a doubt. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.